morning, everybody. I'm Noreen, and welcome to my kitchen. And today I just wanted to have a little chat. Wanted to talk about how sometimes we can perceive things one way, but we don't really know what's going on. And sometimes we perceive things and we get very angry, and then we lash out at others because we don't have the whole story. And we live in a time where everybody is knowledgeable of something, and some people are knowledgeable of a lot of things, but on a very small basis. The other thing that I think is very necessary to understand is just because some people choose to have videos on YouTube, anybody in the whole world can open up a channel and put up videos and put forth knowledge or comedy or information in whatever way they choose. It doesn't mean that information is always good information. It doesn't mean that information is bad information. It just means it's information. And sometimes YouTube is used as a venue to lash out at others. It's used to perpetrate hateful speech. It's used to perpetrate insulting approaches to other people, and sometimes it's used to instill unity and community. And I want everybody to think about this. You know, when you watch a video on YouTube, regardless of who it is, it doesn't matter who it is, you don't truly understand or know what is going on in that person's life at any given time. So I believe that as good human beings is very important to, if you don't wish to watch something, then move on. But you don't have to say ugly things. And I'm going to share something with you. I have a few things I'm going to share with you that I just feel are necessary. I see some things happening, and I'm not going to mention what they are because I'm not like that. And I feel a need to say these things, and you can take them for what they are. You can interpret them however you like, but no matter what you do, know that this comes from my heart and no other place. There are many of you out there whom I have become very good friends with, whom I care about a great deal. There are others of you who I just don't know, and there are even more of you who I will probably never meet, never talk to in person, never even converse on any level. And that's simply because the world is such a big place. Who would have the time? But in light of recent events that have taken place in my life, I want to share a little story with you. And then I'm going to share some spiritual information with you, which I don't often do, because I feel like there's a time and a place for that. And my spirituality and my relationship with God is very, very personal and private. But what I have to share with you today is very relevant and important to me. I'm going to start with a story which is really just thought-provoking, and I'd like you to consider it. And it's the next time that you're tempted to say something hurtful to someone just because you're angry, you might want to stop and remember this story. There once was a little boy who had a bad temper. His father gave him a bag of nails and told him that every time he lost his temper, he had to hammer a nail back into the fence. The first day, the boy had driven 37 nails into the fence. Over the next few weeks, as he learned to control his anger, the number of nails hammered daily gradually dwindled. He discovered it was easier to hold his temper and keep his mouth shut and hold his anger than to drive those nails into the fence. It took a whole lot less energy just to calm down. Finally, the day came when the boy didn't lose his temper after all. He told his father about it, and his father suggested that the boy now pull one nail out for each day that he was able to control his temper and hold his anger and step backward and look at the situation completely before going off in a rage of anger. The days passed, and the young boy was finally able to tell his father that all the nails were gone. The father took his son by the hand and led him to the fence. He said, "You've done well, but look at all the holes in the fence. The fence will never be the same. When you say things in anger, they leave a scar, just like these holes. You can put a knife in a man and draw it out. It won't matter how many times you say you're sorry. That wound is still there." The little boy understood how powerful his words were. He looked up at his father and said, "I hope you can forgive me, Father, for the holes I put in you." "Of course I can," said the father. "You are my son." And I feel like that is a really important story that people need to consider. And it leads me to some very strong memories to when I was involved in a theater group and we performed the musical Godspell. Godspell is very special to me. Godspell, for those of you who do not know, is a musical that is based upon the parables of Jesus in the book of Matthew. In my opinion, there is no other thing that you need to know from the Bible. I mean, there are others, but none more important than the messages that are imparted by the parables in the book of Matthew. Parables such as an eye for an eye, where Jesus has said, "You've heard it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, but I tell you this, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn and offer them your left. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, hand over your shirt and your coat as well. If anyone forces you to go 1 mile, then go with them 2. Give to the one who asks you, and do not turn away from them, the one who wants to borrow from you." The message there is, it doesn't matter if you're angry or if you don't like someone. If someone reaches out for help from you, you should probably go ahead and consider giving it to them, even though you may not like them very much. Jesus goes on to teach us that we should love our enemies. "You've heard it said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you this, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you and those that defile you and hate you, that you may be children of your Father in heaven. He causes the sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? And if you only greet your own people, what are you doing more than others? Do not even the pagans do that? Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect." And finally, I'll share with you what Jesus has to say about judging others. "Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured upon you. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own? How can you say to your brother, 'Let me take that speck out of your eye,' when all the time there is a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite! First you take the plank out of your eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's. Do not give dogs what is sacred. Do not throw your pearls to the pigs. If you do, they may trample them under their feet and tear you to pieces." That's all I have to say today. I hope you will think about what I've said, and I hope you will take it with you. This is not aimed at anyone in particular or anything in particular. It's just something that I needed to say. Thank you for indulging me. I hope you have a great day, and until next time, I'll see you.